Hello everyone, it's me Uncle John. Today I am going to read S3 3049 Alligators Life in the Wild by Monica Colley. It's early morning in the Florida Everglades. The swamp is quiet and still. Two eyes peer above the murky water. They belong to an alligator, a hungry alligator. A heron lands nearby. Whoosh! The alligator bursts out of the water. The heron tries to take off, but the alligator is too fast. Snap! The alligator's sharp teeth close on the heron. There is no escape. Alligators are mighty hunters. They are among the oldest hunters, or predators, on Earth. They have been around for nearly 65 million years, since dinosaur times. There are two species of alligators. The Chinese alligator can be found in the Yangtze River in China. The American alligator lives in the southeastern United States. Florida, Texas, and Louisiana are some of the states where the American alligator makes its home. Alligators look almost the same as they did millions of years ago. Their skin is made of hard scales. These scales are as tough as armor, but they move and bend easily. Alligators have powerful tails, huge strong jaws, and 70 sharp teeth. Alligators do not use their teeth for chewing. Instead, they use them for tearing. An alligator tears its prey into pieces by twisting it around and around on the water. Then the alligator swallows the pieces whole. Some alligators have stones in their stomachs. The stones are grind up the alligator's food so it is easier to digest. The stones have another use too. They help keep the alligator on the water. Alligators can stay on the water for hours at a time. The nostrils shut tight to keep water out. Thin flaps of skin cover their ears, and special clear eyelids protect their eyes. Alligators spend most of their time in the water, but they need the land too. That's because alligators are reptiles. Reptiles are cold-blooded animals. This means that the temperature of their bodies matches the temperature around them. When the water gets cold, alligators get cold too, so they crawl out on land to warm up in the sun. Alligators also need the land for another reason, to lay their eggs. This female alligator is building a nest of mud and plants. When she's done, she will dig a hole in the nest and lay her eggs inside. An alligator can lay up to 40 eggs at a time. Each egg is a little bit larger than a hen's egg. The mother alligator covers the eggs with mud and plants to keep them warm. Then she lies down nearby to guard the nest. The mother alligator watches her nest day and night. When she sees a hungry raccoon come near, she races over to protect her eggs. The raccoon leaves fast. 10 weeks pass. The eggs begin to hatch. Inside their hard shells, the hatchlings yelp and croak. The mother alligator hears the hatchlings' cries. Quickly, she digs up the eggs. One of the hatchlings cannot break its shell. The mother alligator picks up the egg. She rolls it gently against the roof of her mouth with her tongue. The shell breaks, and the mother alligator sets the hatchling safely on the ground. Mother alligators take good care of their young. Here, the mother lets the hatchlings lie on her head to catch some sun. Meanwhile, she is keeping a close eye on a hawk in a nearby tree. Hawks, raccoons, and black snakes all like to eat baby alligators, but they won't have a chance, not if the mother alligator can help it. Grown alligators watch out for each other too. Sometimes they share food. When there's a dry spell, they share what little water they can find. Alligators even talk to each other. They roar or bellow messages back and forth. Alligators also use signals to communicate. The hatchling has already learned an important signal. When she sees another alligator, lift its head and snap its jaws. She knows just what to do. Get out of its way. The hatchlings grow quickly, about a foot a year. At first, they eat mostly bugs. Soon birds, frogs, and turtles are on the menu. By age 6, the hatchlings are adults, but they don't stop growing. Adult alligators grow a little bit every day for the rest of their lives. Male alligators can grow to be 14 feet long as a station wagon. Alligators are strong swimmers. When an alligator swims, it folds its legs against its body so it is shaped like a fish. Then the alligator sweeps his tail back and forth in the water. When an alligator wants to swim fast, it whips its tail hard. At top speed, an alligator sometimes rises out of the water. It looks as if it's walking on its tail. Alligators are fast and fierce. They can catch just about any animal that comes near the water. This alligator is about to catch a deer that was drinking at the river's edge. After this feast, the alligator will not need to eat again for a long time. An adult alligator can survive on one big meal for a whole year. Are alligators dangerous to people? They can be. If they are provoked or bothered, alligators will attack humans. People can be dangerous to alligators too. Many of the swamps and marshes where alligators live are being drained away to make room for houses or businesses. Every year, there's less and less space for alligators. It's important to preserve the alligator's home. If we do, this creature that has been on Earth for millions of years will survive for many, many more to the end. Hello everyone, it's me Uncle John. Today I am going to read S3 3077, The Parakeet Girl by Marilyn Sadler. The summary of the story is this. Emma tries several pets before she becomes best friends with a parakeet, Henry. But she finds that friendship threatened when her brother Bruce buys another parakeet. Emma Tuttle wanted a pet of her very own, more than anything else in the world. So on her 6th birthday, Emma's parents gave her a puppy. Emma loved her puppy. She gave him the best life a puppy could have. She fed him 3 times a day, no matter how funny his food smelled. She took him for walks, no matter how cold it was. She threw his ball for him, no matter how many times he brought it back. But it did not matter what Emma did. Her puppy liked her mother better. He is Mom's dog, said her brother Bruce. So one day, Emma came home with the kitten. He was free. She told her mother. Emma loved her kitten, and her kitten loved her. He followed her everywhere. He rubbed up against her legs, he even sat on her lap and let her pet him. There was just one problem. He made her sneeze. Achoo! So Emma bought a goldfish, but he was not the right pet either. He did not come when she called him. He did not like to be petted. And worst of all, he never seemed happy to see her. Emma took her goldfish back to the pet store. I guess there is no pet for me, she said sadly. Then, to Emma's surprise, a parakeet landed on top of her head. Pretty bird, said the parakeet. Emma liked the idea of a pet that could talk. She bought the parakeet and named him Henry. Pretty bird, Emma took Henry home. He can talk, she told her parents. Pretty bird, said Henry. He did not know how to say anything else that night. Emma decided to teach Henry every word in the dictionary. She read them all from A to Z. Then she waited to hear what Henry could say. Henry opened his beak. Aardvark, he said. When Emma woke up the next morning, Henry was on her bedpost. She was just so happy to see him. He was just so happy to see her. Henry was the perfect pet. Soon, Emma and Henry became best friends. They did everything together. Emma took Henry with her to her piano lessons. She took Henry with her to the dentist. She even took Henry with her when she had her picture taken. Emma just didn't look right anymore without Henry on top of her head. One morning, Emma decided to take Henry to school, but Emma's teacher was not happy to see him. You know the rules, said Mrs. Crump. No birds, bugs, frogs, or snakes. I'm sorry, said Emma. She had forgotten that Henry was a bird. Emma's class was learning all about Africa that day. Which animal lives in Africa and has a long snout? Asked Mrs. Crump. Aardvark, said Henry. After that, Henry could come to school whenever he wanted. Henry was a big help to Mrs. Crump. He collected homework. He picked up litter. He sharpened pencils. Mrs. Crump loved Henry. So did Emma's friends. Can he sit on my head today? It's my turn. No, it's my turn. Before long, Emma became known as the Parakeet Girl. Then one day, Bruce asked if he could take Henry to school with him. I'll bring him right home afterward, he said, but Emma didn't want to let Henry out of her sight. Sorry, said Emma. Emma and Henry were surprised when they got home from school. Bruce had bought his own parakeet. Her name is Kate, said Bruce. Pretty bird, said Henry. When Emma got ready for bed that night, Henry was not on her head. She searched everywhere for him. At last, she went into Bruce's room. There was Henry, sitting beside Kate's cage. Aardvark, said Henry. Aardvark, said Kate. Emma took Henry and put him in his cage. She was just so upset she even put on his cover. Emma went to bed, but she could not sleep. Henry would not stop talking about Kate. Pretty bird, 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 he cried 452 times. The next day, Henry did not want to go to school. Emma tried to reason with him, but Henry would not listen. She had to take him to school in his cage. When they got to school, Emma set Henry free. He flew to the window. pretty bird, he shouted. Henry refused to collect homework. He chewed the erasers off pencils. He even dive-bombed Mrs. Crumb. Mrs. Crumb had no choice but to send him home. That night, Emma was as sad as she could be. Henry likes Kate better than me, she cried. Then she looked into Henry's eyes. She saw the saddest face she had ever seen. It was even sadder than hers. So Emma did the only thing she could do. She set Henry free. He flew right to Kate. After that, Emma was not herself. One day, she even took Henry's empty cage to school. Emma's parents tried to make Emma happy. They offered to buy her another parakeet, but Emma was not interested. Then one morning, Emma thought she heard something unusual. It sounded like Henry, but it also sounded like Kate. Emma ran into Bruce's room. She couldn't believe her eyes. Henry and Kate had two babies. They were the prettiest parakeets Emma had ever seen. Pretty babies, whispered Emma. Emma took good care of the babies. She fed them, she cleaned their cage, she read them every word in the dictionary. The aardvark. Emma even took the parakeet babies to school. Mrs. Crump was glad to see them. Her pencils needed sharpening. From then on, Emma was as happy as could be. She had wanted a pet of her very own more than anything else in the world. Now she had two, Henry Jr. and Henrietta. The end.